What's the most embarrassing moment in your life you will never forget? I had just finished buying food at a restaurant and a small boy approached me to beg for money. I gave him the 100 naira that I had left with me. I saw a madman approaching me after the boy left. He was also stretching his hand to ask for money. He was moving closer, so I walked faster too. He got really close and I had to run. That's how the marathon started between me and a madman on a Sunday morning at Ikotun. Someone shouted, "Give him the food now," and I remember saying a silent curse for whoever it was because I was too hungry to let go. People were laughing and some were even recording me. A celeb like me that had about 25k followers on IG then. I ended up leaving the food for him and he backed out. My precious bread and beans, ewa are gone in to be precise. He will run mad all over again. Early last year, I traveled to Obomosha to sort out some things in my school. I had severe stomach pain before I left school, but I didn't bother to do anything about it because I thought I could endure it and sort myself out once I get to Lagos that same day. I got hungry, so I bought oya bread and akara to eat. I finished eating and my stomach started making this weird noise. I let out a silent fart with a very strong odor that distorted the atmosphere of the bus. Other passengers started complaining, but I wasn't bothered since I expected them to stop once the odor fades in a few seconds. After like 20 minutes, the odor was still strong and people still kept complaining. I later realized that I had shit in my pants when I farted. The driver stopped and asked everyone to come down to find out what was smelling. Mothers with babies were forced to check if their babies pooed. I quickly used my handkerchief to wipe my wet seat when I stood up, but it didn't work because flies were around it. Everyone knew I was the one already. I humbled myself and apologized to everyone before I entered the bush to shit properly and clean myself. My most embarrassing moment has to be the day I stole a Chivita drink in a big supermarket. Due to the large size of the supermarket, I usually take any drink of my choice, drink it and throw the container somewhere before heading to the checkout counter. One day, I was very thirsty, so I ran into the supermarket to drink as usual. Since I didn't see a smaller drink, I took a Chivita and drank about half of it. I placed the remaining back in their fridge and proceeded to the checkout counter to pay for the 200 naira chin that I took. A staff of the supermarket approached me and asked if I paid for the Chivita I opened. That's how I started speaking English to deny drinking any Chivita because people were looking at us and it was embarrassing. Loss, he brought out his phone and showed me a short video of when I was gulping the Chivita and how I returned it inside the fridge. I shamelessly paid, left there, and never went back. Before we continue, please like and subscribe to support this channel, thank you. My most embarrassing moment was the day my ex-boyfriend chased me with his car in Oluyole at Ibadan. My ex-boyfriend and I broke up last year because I met someone else who was better than him financially. I was just walking by the roadside one Friday when I saw that a car was moving too close to me. I started running away from the road, but the car still followed. I flung my slippers and ran faster, but this car won't stop. He later parked and got out of the car with his friend. They were laughing while I was breathing heavily. I sent him curses via SMS later that day before I blocked him again. I went to my friend's wedding with my new girlfriend last year. I introduced her to all my friends, which was something I later regretted. The groom's friends were called to dance with him and spray him money. On the dance floor, I saw my girlfriend picking the money we were spraying. In fact, she was so focused. I tried communicating with her with all kinds of body language to stop embarrassing me. Sadly, she kept jumping around as the money was flying and was sweating profusely. She came to me and dumped some of the money she picked inside my pocket because her bag was full, which got me extremely pissed. My other friends noticed and I had no choice but to leave the dance floor. That day was the last day I talked to her. Kindly subscribe and stay tuned for more stories on real life stories.